If you're trying to learn tarot by memorizing 78 separate card meanings, I want you to try something different because the Five of Cups doesn't mean sadness simply because the guidebook told us it does. There is structure underneath that meaning. And once you begin understanding that structure, tarot gets a lot easier. So instead of asking, what am I supposed to remember about this card? You can start asking, what is this card actually showing me? Welcome to Tarot Understood, a series about learning the language of the tarot so you can stop memorizing and start reading. If you're new to tarot, you've probably experienced this. You pull a card, you look at it, and your mind goes completely blank, so you reach for the guidebook. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the guidebook. I still think traditional card meanings are incredibly important. The problem comes from when we learn tarot as though every card has one definition we need to retrieve from memory. The Fool means beginnings. The Three of Cups means celebration. The Eight of Pentacles means hard work. And those aren't necessarily wrong, they're just incomplete because tarot is a language and languages have structure. When I look at a tarot card, there are several layers that I can work with. Number, where is the energy in the cycle? The suit. Let's make it really simple. I like to think of four suits this way. Wands inspire. Wands are fire, desire, creativity, passion, action, and motivation. Cups connect. Cups are water, emotion, relationship, and intuition. Swords clarify. Swords are air, thought, communication, truth, decisions, and conflict. And pentacles build. Pentacles are earth, work, resources, skills, the body, money, home, anything tangible. You don't have to memorize all of those words. Start with four. Wands inspire, cups connect, swords clarify, pentacles build. We'll go much deeper into the suits later. Numbers give us a whole nother layer. For example, threes carry growth and development. Fours create structure and stability. Then we reach five. Fives disrupt the stability of the four. So fives can introduce change, challenge, instability, tension. Something isn't exactly where it was anymore. And now we can start combining our language. Let me show you. If you've learned tarot through keywords, you may have learned the Five of Cups is sadness. Okay, but why? So let's break it apart. We have five. Five is disruption, change, instability, and we have cups, water, emotion, connection, relationship. And when we put those together, that's emotional disruption. Now we're getting somewhere. Look at the image. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith image, the figure's attention is directed towards the cups that have spilled, but not every cup has fallen. Something still remains. So now our interpretation becomes much richer. We're looking at grief, regret, disappointment, an emotional situation that changed, difficulty accepting what's been lost, attention being placed on what went wrong, or perhaps eventually recognizing what still remains. Suddenly, sadness makes sense, but we didn't start there, we arrived there, and that distinction is everything. Now imagine I pull the Five of Cups and ask, what is challenging me right now? Maybe I'm struggling to process disappointment, but what if I ask, what am I learning right now? The card hasn't changed, but the conversation has. Now perhaps I'm learning something about grief, acceptance, emotional attachment. What I focus on after something doesn't work out the way that I had hoped. And if the Star appears beside it, or the Ace of Cups, or the Eight of Pentacles, those cards begin modifying the story again. That's why memorizing Five of Cups equals sadness can only take you so far. And the tarot card doesn't exist in isolation. Okay, let's try one together. Before I tell you anything about its traditional meaning, let's break it apart. Three, growth, development, something beginning to expand. And Pentacles, earth, the tangible world, work, skills, resources, things that we can actually build. So growth plus tangible world. What could that look like? Developing a skill, building something, growing professionally, working with other people to make something real. Now look at the imagery. We see people interacting around work that is being created, and suddenly concepts like collaboration, craftsmanship, learning, skill development, building something together, it makes sense. Again, we arrived at that meaning, but we didn't necessarily have to pull it out of memory. Here's what I'd like you to try after this video. Shuffle your deck and pull one numbered minor arcana card. Don't look at the guidebook yet, and ask yourself, what is the number? What does the number suggest? Then, what's the suit? What realm of life are we talking about? Then look at the card. Now, what you think it means. What do you literally see? What are the figures doing? What are you looking at? What are they looking at? What's happening in the environment? What feels emphasized? Then put those pieces together and write down what you think the card could be saying. Only after you've done that, check your guidebook. And here's the important part. Don't grade yourself, compare. What did you recognize? What did the traditional interpretation add? What did you notice that wasn't mentioned? That's how you begin developing a relationship with the cards. Traditional tarot meanings matter. We're not throwing those away. We're learning why they make sense, because when you understand the structure underneath tarot, forgetting a keyword doesn't mean you have nothing. You still have a number, a suit, the element, the imagery, the context, and eventually the relationships between all of the cards in front of you. That's why we're going to build through this series, one layer at a time, until you're no longer looking at a tarot spread thinking, what am I supposed to remember? You're looking at it thinking, I can see the story. That's how you can stop memorizing and start reading. This was lesson 1 of Tarot Understood. Next time we're going one layer deeper. How does a tarot card actually get its meaning? Because once you understand where tarot meanings come from, the deck starts feeling a lot less like 78 cards you have to memorize and much more like a language you can learn to speak. I'll see you in lesson 2.